1 week, Miami Dolphins fans. Just one more week. That's all that's separating us from the 2024 NFL draft. So today we are talking edge rushers. It's a popular position, especially with all the quality guys that might be available there at number 21. We're going to jump into all of that. I actually think this is going to be the final positional target preview video that I do leading up to the NFL draft. It won't be the final video I do leading up to the draft. I'm going to detail my plans here at the end of today's video, so stay tuned for what I've got coming up over the next week or so here at the end of today's video. But if you missed the other target prospect videos that we did, we identified 5 targets in all of those videos. We did linebackers, we've done wide receivers. We actually did 2 offensive line videos. We did first and second round targets. We most recently did defensive line targets. And then today, like I said, we're hitting on edge rushers. And in today, I've got 2 players that are kind of projected in that second round range. And then the final 3 are going to be those ones that are likely coming off the board in the first round. And obviously with us picking at 21, obviously with Chubb getting hurt last year, Phillips getting hurt last year, these edge rushers, I don't want to say they're picking up steam. They've had the steam and the Dolphins' attention at number 21. So I'm looking forward to doing today's video. We'll jump right into the action. Before we do, though, I got to hear from you. Any targets you've got your eye on, whether they're potential guys at number 21, maybe they're late round prospects, whatever you've got, go ahead, drop your nominations in the comments. And we are going to kick things off today with number 5 with one of those second round targets. Marshon Neal, edge rusher out of Western Michigan. Obviously, you hear Western Michigan's a smaller school, but man, you put on his tape, hard not to instantly notice just the overall athleticism, the punch that this dude packs with that initial contact with the guy lined up across from him. Absolutely loved seeing. I don't know if it's because he's got that arm brace in a lot of the film that I watched. He looks like one of the Watt brothers out there, but man, this dude just packs a punch. His jump off the snap is, I'll call it all right. He's got decent bend coming around the edge, but man, he can get that upper hand right away when he wins with his hands at the point of contact. He's also got some pretty damn decent power that helps him with those bull rushers. Plenty of film of him basically taking his lineman right into the quarterback, either getting a pressure or even a sack in some of the situations that I saw. I do wish there was a little bit more statistical production, especially playing at a smaller school like Western Michigan. Keep in mind, though, there's a little bit of rawness to his game. He actually played tight end while he was in high school. I do think he'll have to work on some counter moves. He'll have to develop a little bit more of a pass rushing package, a pass rushing plan at the next level. But the one thing that I do really like to finish him up, I like that he can play with his hand in his dirt. I think this guy is even at his best. He's even more dynamic when he can be up, when he can move around, whether he's on the edge, whether he lines up somewhere along the line of scrimmage. I love the versatility that he shows in that type of situation. You could tell that he was given a little bit of freedom to play with that in certain situations while at Western Michigan. But overall, you're looking at a nice round 2 prospect that, you know what, getting picked in round 2, you can learn from Phillips, you can learn from Chubb, you can learn from Shaq Barrett, maybe even get some action early on, depending on those injuries for those first guys that we talked about. And then hopefully, you know what, learn, develop, grow, contribute on a more regular basis in 2025 as well. All right, one more second round prospect before we get into those 3 in the first round. But one of the things I noticed right away about Chris Boswell, his ability as a controlled rusher, and that's a unique thing for me to see. I don't typically see that right away out of college prospects, but the little bit of film that I was able to catch of him, that it sort of stood out to me, oddly enough, against mobile quarterbacks. I think it was when they were playing Tennessee. He doesn't always just try to fly around the edge. He knows that he's got to maintain that gap, so he works his guy back, and then he just swoops in and he's there to make the play. But why I like that is because you can develop that into a counter move as well against pretty much any quarterback. He's got that ability where you've seen edge rushers that basically get one hand on their guy, push back, push back, push back. And when it's time to rip inside, use that strength and athleticism, rip back inside and meet back up with the quarterback inside the pocket there. I love that I was able to see that from him already as a college prospect. I have read some draft analysts that say he's got like super good burst off of the snap. Quite honestly, I think maybe I'd have to watch some more film or go back to some of the film because I actually had that as an area where I thought he could improve on. a little bit. And if he does improve on it, I think his game can improve immensely as well. He also has okay film setting the edge, but that's not really currently a huge strength. Personally, though, if you're taking him in the second round, I think you are betting on the potential and you are betting on the athleticism that he has. He actually blocked some kicks as well. I think he had a field goal and a punt block while he was at Bama. I know that he actually recovered one and housed it for a touchdown as well. So, yeah, he brings value on special teams as well. But, man, we're talking about a second-round prospect. While the special teams value is nice, we would need more than that as well. So, like I said, you're betting on the potential. You're betting on the athleticism. All right, so these next three, these guys were hard for me to rank because honestly, I like them all. I almost love them all. I'll throw that out there. And it's weird because I actually kind of like them all for different reasons. And quite honestly, so don't put too much stock in where I have them ranked. Just in general, it's just an opportunity for us to talk about these three prospects that I absolutely like for the Dolphins at number 21. And oddly enough, Jared Verse, he'd probably be the betting favorite to come off the board first of the three that I'm going to talk about here. But the absolute first thing you notice when you put on his film, his size, he looks different. He's not the super lanky alien athletic freak type. He is an athletic freak, but he just doesn't have that look. He doesn't look like he's going to be fast. He doesn't look like he's going to be this bendy edge rusher. I'm going to call him a well-built force because you put on the tape and that's exactly what he is. And that's not saying that he's not athletic and not bendy because it's the opposite. He is athletic. He can bend around the edge as well. He just simply looks different out there. He actually transferred to Florida State, had a couple of seasons at Albany, and he transferred and so did his production and stats that came along with it. 9 sacks in both 2022 and 2023, double-digit tackles for a loss both of those years. First team all-conference both years as well. Like I said, maybe he doesn't have the crazy long arms. He doesn't look like one of those aliens out there, but man, he makes up with it for the pure, sheer strength that this guy plays with. In my opinion, he's already one of the better edge setting players in this draft. He simply just plays on a different level. He's a higher motor guy than pretty much anyone that you're going to see on the field. I love his ability as a bull rusher. Like I said, the strength is off the charts. He can get that quick jump. He can get his hands where he wants to on the tackle that he's lined up against. It's kind of over. Biggest question I have about him is he going to be on the board when we pick at number 21? Because if he is available, yeah, consider me a person that'll sign off on that pick. Yes, I'm a broken record. My priority remains offensive lineman at number 21. I'm not going to complain, though, if we end up with Jared Verse. All right, funny to do these two back-to-back because they measure out about identical in height, weight, but their play style, at least in my opinion, it feels very different. We're talking about Chop Robinson out of Penn State. And the thing that jumps off your screen when you're watching Chop, he basically shoots out of his stance like a sprinter at the snap, and his bend, oh my gosh. I love a bendy edge rusher. This dude's bend is just ridiculous. You would have liked to see a little bit more sack production given that athletic profile. The dude ran a 4.48 as an edge rusher at the NFL Combine. But if he can get the right coaching, if he can stay committed to perfecting that craft, and man, he's got some guys he could learn from. It would not surprise me if this guy consistently flirts with double-digit plus sacks on a yearly basis, a couple of years once he's into the league. He can bull rush. He's got decent film setting the edge, although like most collegiate edge rushers, that's going to need some work. He's just I'm going to call him an overall menace. When he can time that snap, get that initial burst across the edge. Chop is one of those guys, though, in my opinion, if you were to take him this year and hopefully we can work on a contract extension for Jaelan Phillips, hopefully he returns to full strength. But if you do, the future belongs to those guys. It is 100% those two. Any of these first-round edge prospects that we're going to talk with, if you can pair them with a healthy Jaelan Phillips, that's a duo. That is a duo that you will want to get behind for the foreseeable future with the Miami Dolphins. All right, so I gush over Jared Verse. I gush over Chop Robinson. Latu he just might be the most complete of these three first-round prospects that I'm going to talk about today. His concern, as we've discussed in previous videos, much like actually Jaelan Phillips when he was in college, the injury issues. He had a neck injury to the point where he could not get the doctors to clear him when he was at the University of Washington. But man, once again, kind of like Phillips, he goes to UCLA, he gets medically cleared, and it's just been lights out production ever since. 23 and a half sacks over the last 2 years, 34 tackles for a loss over that same time span. The Lombardi Award winner, first team all conference, conference defensive player of the year. The dude has been on an absolute tear over the last 24 months. You can only imagine how high this guy would have went. He might already go high the way it is, but if he didn't have the injury concern, you're looking at a potential guy that's going to flirt with that first edge rusher off the board. Like I said, might anyways. But an array of moves as a pass rusher. He is strategic with how he approaches his pass rushes, sort of like the scouting report that was out there on Jaelan Phillips as well. He's got the motor. He can win fast. He can win early. And he uses his hands. That's one of his biggest strengths. He uses his hands as well as you'll see a collegiate edge rusher using him. He's slapping. He's chopping. He's doing every single thing that he can do to win that leverage and maintain that leverage. It's just, can he keep that neck injury behind him? Can he stay on the field? Because when he's done that, like I said, the last 2 years at UCLA, there's not too many that have done it any better. We will actually wrap it right there for today's edge rushers. You'll notice I did not include Dallas Turner out of Alabama, and that's no fault of his own. That is simply because I don't think we have a shot at landing him. So I wanted to keep my targets, my time spent talking about these on the guys that I feel are most realistic as possible. If he's available at 21, good, great, grand. But quite honestly, if he's available at 21, there's got to be like a deeper issue. There's got to be something with like a Darnell Washington type of thing last year where we're like, man, if he's on the board at the second round, we got to take him. And then we passed on him multiple times, and other teams passed on him multiple times. There would have to be something there. I just don't imagine Dallas Turner being on the board when the Dolphins pick at 21. But like I said, drop your edge prospects in the comments. I will be back. I talked about the final videos. I'm going to do a final mock draft that'll drop probably on Sunday. And then I'm going to have my final Miami Dolphins NFL draft predictions as well. So who I think the Dolphins will land in the first, the second, the fifth, the 2, 6, and the 7th. I pray I can get at least one. That'd be pretty sweet because, man, predicting the NFL draft is very impossible, unpredictable. But, hey, we're going to give a crack at it anyways. But it'll give us a chance to talk about the prospects one more time as well. That'll be my time for today, though, Miami Dolphins fans. And until next time, fins up.